pick an emoji. Kamusta kayo? After that break, were you able to walk a bit, stretch a bit? Yes, okay, we're feeling positive, no? Yan, maganda ang ating vibe. Okay, so, I didn't take a break. I was reading all your wonderful comments and I'm truly impressed at your responses. I think our participants are ready and they're able to quickly understand no the objectives and the goal of our session this afternoon. And what I'm seeing and what I'm truly I just would like to articulate this no, that what we're seeing today no among our participants is that when we share pedagogy, maraming nagsabi doon, no? And combine it with real-life account of building curriculum, responsive to the collection, collaboration is already happening. But this is often done quietly and invisibly. Minsan hindi din napapansin eh, di ba? So now our challenge is to make this work visible. We need to document it, we need to study it, we need to deepen it, because these insights across geography, are we all based in the Philippines or do we have librarians, Filipino librarians based abroad right now? Because if this is unique to the Philippines, yung mga pinagsasabi niyo dyan sa chat, then we can really proceed with a campaign or an advocacy that librarians are co-thinkers, co-designers, and we co-lead learning. Okay? Wonderful. All right. So now we go to the digital environment. We're going to talk about it. And in developing this topic, I was able to learn as well because new research and new material led me to identify 4 pillars of digital learning. So we're fresh from COVID. 5 years ago, hindi pa matagal yan, ano? Although matagal ang ikot ng information sa social media, ang dami-daming nangyayari, no? Parang ang dami na nating na-accomplish. But really, when we look at impact, it's only now when we can catalyze what happened after the pandemic. There is learning gap and there's literacy, there's a demand for literacy to cut across horizontal and vertical intersections of learning, social life, and economy. So having said that, and your realization, your assertion that librarians are really perfect partners of teachers, here now are 3 important roles that librarians complement teachers with na emphasis na rin, no? Information behavior and IL frameworks. So yes, we recognize information literacy skills. We have a program for that in our library. I hope everyone does. We have an MIL program as well. It can be combined. In my case, we have a research matrix. But above this matrix, this program, we also need to be very attentive on behavior. That this framework of IL is influenced by how we show our citizenship online. And so, on the ethical use of information, our role or our competency, we should also be skilled at using citation, in scaffolding inquiry, in chunking big amounts of information, and in developing an epistemological approach to research. So when I say epistemological, the continuous asking of questions. We recognize that questions may not have all the answers all the time. So our ability to organize information is again another competency we bring forth to the table. So kung meron tayong subscription to databases and the budget is already expunged or exhausted, we can always go to open source, no? Yung mga OER natin. And we don't stop with the provision of databases, apps to subscribe to, digital resources. There's the necessity to provide a user education uh, program for this digital tools. So if you're subscribed to, let's say, um, a database, whether it's for school or academic, we always pay attention to the manual, to the tools that we can share to teachers and students na bite-sized, no? 1 minute PowerPoint presentation, 1 minute video on how to use a database or um, an app. And we create our own library websites and platform for sharing. So that's us. As for teachers, they're content experts and they think in their discipline. Their competency rests on pedagogical design and assessment of skills. So mamaya si Teacher Hazel will also brush up on the teachers' competencies and how it complements us librarians. So in the digital learning environment, UNESCO defines it as an online experience, a hybrid, a hybrid designed environment. Okay, I think now I have to share my screen because I'm not anymore summarizing what happened in part one. Okay, here we go. Okay, there. All right. So, in digital learning, it spans three environments. Actually, dalawa lang if we're going to put hybrid together with blended. So, that's online, blended, and hybrid. And it's just amazing because we're adapting to this. We experienced online learning, blended learning during the pandemic, and hybriding. But even now that we're in the new normal, to borrow a term back in the pandemic, we learn, no, through hybrid environments. So there are times when Monday to Friday, Monday to Thursday, we're on school, we're on site, and built in that Monday to Friday teaching learning schedule, we make use of our LMS. But there are days in the week, maybe a Friday, where students and teachers can stay at home to do online or asynchronous work or even hybrid, no? So ito yung um this is what we're go this is the environment we're dealing now, and it can be uncertain. Another aspect of digital learning is multimodal inquiry. So when we say multimodal inquiry, this now involves inquiry across platforms, across different learning resources. Not only is the book essential, but also audiobooks. When we when we create digital resources, we are also aware that the way we read digital resources is very different from the book form. So we have to be aware of digital reading, lateral reading, and the inquiry that happens when reading multimodal resources embedded in this experience. So ang inquiry process ng students when they interact with multimodal resources, ang daming nangyayari. So the inquiry can be inferential, the inquiry can be literal, and the inquiry can be critical or evaluative. So our MIL instructional program should also be responsive to this multimodal inquiry. Not only is the online blended hybrid digital learning space present, but in the level of cognition, this multimodal inquiry requires students to think in those four different kinds of thinking processes: literal, inferential, critical, evaluative. Okay. Ang demanding, no? So, our digital learning can be responsive when we curate, when we're aware of digital pedagogy. Sa pag-uusapan natin maya-maya ang digital literacy. Ayan, kasunod na yon, digital and information literacy, and of course, our knowledge of learning technologies. So it's not enough that we have the coolest apps. It's not enough that we have a strong internet connection. Our infrastructure in school can hold bandwidths that a whole class can access simultaneously, not just one web source, but plentiful. So kailangan din talaga ng literacy from digital and information, including media. And how do we teach it? How do we learn it? And then we go back again to where we're very good at. We have to create because we have to guide. So continuing on with what UNESCO is or has defined on digital learning, it's supported by digital technologies that enhance teaching to access content and inspire learner engagement. Or not just inspire, no? Ito nga dapat yung result. So what is now the librarian's role or contribution? So in the digital content and resource curation, which you mentioned in your sharing in our first activity in part one, we now look at digital databases. Do we have them? Of course, dapat no, must have na yan. E-books and e-journals are OERs, but we don't forget the primary sources and our institutional repositories. So our primary sources can be in book form. It can also be digitized, but it's part of our content, both digital and analog. So the teacher now becomes the disciplinary expert. He or she can align the disciplines from all of the sources we provide. Tony Bates says, in teaching in a digital age, the quality of digital learning depends on the curation of credible, diverse, and multimodal materials, a clear area where we play an important and essential role. Diyan tayo magaling, no? For pedagogy and learning design, librarians can structure research tasks. What is our research design cycle? What is our framework for research? Hourglass ba? Pyramid ba? No? Do we use uh, design principles in our research? So it's up to us librarians how we are structuring research in our instruction in school. We also can provide scaffolded inquiry, no? So when we say scaffolded inquiry, are we using mind maps? Are we making use of outline for reading different resources so that our inquiry can derive at a meaning or an answer suitable to the inquiry question? We can also create information literacy modules. We can also be a part of library instruction integrated not just in English, reading, or language arts classes, but also in the content areas. Do we provide feedback on students' research processes? And how can this be done? So, kayo ba sa library ninyo, pag may pumasok na student, if there's a student who comes in the library and that student is going to do an independent research coming from a class, whether it's a science class, an English class, or a social studies class. Are you aware of what the student takes away from the library? O papasok lang siya at walang nangyayari, lalabas na siya, nagamit niya na ang library. Okay? So there's a distinction to that. So the ideal collaborative role of a librarian would be her knowledge of what the student is researching on. And then the student comes out with a positive response or a negative response. And the librarian is also aware. But how do we measure that? Okay, that's a question that I have no answer to. However, if there's a student from the very beginning of a research class wherein the librarian is a co-designer of that research activity, then the librarian is aware of students coming in and what their inquiries are, what students are using to answer an inquiry question. So, nag-e-expand talaga yung role natin. So, where are we in that in the two scenarios? Siyempre gusto natin dun sa pangalawa, no? Kasi we're involved and we are a collaborative partner. So the faculty or the teacher in this second pillar of digital learning provides disciplinary application and evaluation. So si teacher talaga ang nagbibigay ng grades at nagbibigay ng assessment. Now, what is your role in the assessment experience? Do you give feedback in qualitative manner, or do you also mark a grade? Minsan depende yan on how you are invited or involved in the collaboration of a lesson plan. In my case, my role is an assessor in the formative assessment. So formation talaga siya. Hindi siya in the summative assessment, it's usually me and the teacher sitting down to mark a research work. So even in grading or marking a research paper, my role, this is my experience, it may be different to yours. My role again is a co-assessor. Okay. So Merrill has the first principles of instruction theory, and it shows that learning improves when the sequences of task follows: activation, demonstration, application, integration. So if we are to apply our collaborative role in Merrill's first principle, we're already an active participant in the design of learning and teaching. We demonstrate it by doing our part. We teach an aspect of research, maybe search strategies, maybe a knowledge of what references are available, how to decide what reference to use for a specific inquiry question that can also be taught and demonstrated. And then students apply this knowledge with the librarian as guide. So the application process of what students learn can also be now integrated into their written work or into any subject. A science experiment, perhaps, a video, maybe a TikTok reel, no? Or maybe a program, app or bot, depending on the subject, the goals, and the design. So here now would be a digital literacy set of skills: digital tool proficiency, from the computer, from the device to apps, ethical online behaviors. What is your stand on AI? Do you have your own belief system? Do you have your own ethical practices? And if you do, how is your ethical online use, be it AI or digital tools, connect to your school's policy? Multimodal creation. Are your students creating not just videos anymore, but a combination of audio and print uh, products? Are they data literacy? Can they understand the result of surveys, statistics, and different graphs? Media literacy. Is there a clickbait headline? Is there a headline that's not inspiring but rage bait? Yan. Do you know if students respond positively or negative to media that's manipulated? That's when we have to apply critical evaluation. And so the digital literacy um, spectrum covers all of this. Ang dami, di ba? So if the librarian is the only person teaching, creating a space to fashion skills, to be more digital savvy, to be kinder, because yes, there's an ethical implication to our use of tools, digital or otherwise, the librarian will definitely burn out. So these skills from digital proficiency or the tools, I mean digital tools proficiency to critical evaluation. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has to be co-owned, not just by us, but also teachers and faculty members. So here are now the technological platforms. We have our LMS, we have our research platforms, we have our collaboration tools, Padlet, actually wala nang Jamboard no? We have Canva, Adobe Express, and video editors. CapCut is wonderful. Our Gen Zs are TikTokers. I can't really uh hindi ko nakita no I wasn't really expecting for TikTok to be this big among Gen Zs, of course. Our role now is to ensure that these technologies are accessible, sustainable, ethically used, and pedagogically aligned. And for faculty to ensure that these platforms support disciplinary thinking in their subject areas. So as Vaughn and Garrison said, effective digital learning in an environment for schools and academics becomes communities of inquiry supported by technological and pedagogical integration. So yes, technology is good. Digital savviness is an advantage, but we never put aside pedagogical integration. So never put the cart before the horse. In this case, the pedagogical horse will move the cart. So mahalaga pa rin tayo. Ang teacher is still a very essential mediator. And in our collaboration, we reach our desired goals and learning objectives. Now, here's the thing. And there's a dissonance because this is what I was able to come up with in research on teacher-librarian collaboration. And it's very different in what you're saying on the chat. So may ibig sabihin yan, no? A study in Iloilo on teacher-librarian collaboration has this result. The library service is underutilized and the recognition of librarian roles is varied. So, hindi siya kasing buo tulad ng mga pinag-uusapan natin kanina. Okay? Yung spectrum nyo ng collaboration, from coordination, cooperation, communication, meron eh. But in this study, varied lang, no? That librarians are recognized. In the pandemic, IL instruction becomes a skill set taught online, and collaboration depended on instructional culture and digital access. So culture is a driving force in the success of teacher-librarian collaboration. So ang tanong ko ngayon, ano ang kultura ng inyong learning community? Because culture is an aspect for successful co-design of digital learning experiences. In a study of PASCU NCR Information Literacy Skills Program, IL instruction is inconsistent. Collaboration is affected by workload, staffing, and lack of formal structures. So ito yung sinasabi ng research. And when we say research, it's tested by methodology and methods. Okay? So in the Philippine context, the teacher-librarian collaboration or partnership is often at coordination level. Okay. So may dissonance, no? Dun sa ating personal experience to what research is saying. Okay? Now, what research is saying can still be extended into a review of related literature. Pwede pa natin tong palawakin. So yung mga sinabi nyo kanina, the things you said about our first workshop in part one. Those are lived experiences, and they are just as valid as what research is saying. But it has to be tested. Okay? So, before we go to uh, challenging you to do research, because that's the part of my PowerPoint presentation towards the end, no, that we have to be involved in the research of school librarianship, subtopic of teacher-librarian collaboration. Let's now look at barriers in the Philippine context. Number one is role recognition. Number two is workload. Aminin, marami pa rin tayong trabaho. So yung 2 to 3 day uh, log na pinagawa ko sa inyo, try extending that for a week or for a month and to truly see how many times am I monitoring the printing versus actually assisting students in searching for information, in using the database as informed by the subject teacher. And then digital access gaps. Meron pa din, no? We're coming from different places in the Philippines. But access is different in Cavite, in Iloilo, in Apayao. Kanina lang may nagsabi, I'm sorry, my data is so weak. I hope I can catch up. That's digital access. Okay? Lack of co-teaching policies. Are we really recognized as co-teachers, co-designers? Is it in the policy? And then we have siloed planning structures. Still, there are teachers who plan in isolation. And I hope the teacher Hazel can expand on this, the plus and the minuses. Okay, so for our workshop part, let's do this real time. There's a survey that I would like everybody to scan and answer. So if you have your device, if you have your iPhone, your Android with you, you can scan the QR code. I think there's also a link to this survey. So maybe we can also get the link. Okay, I would need assistance from our PASLI and CNE friends. Okay, and let me check the time. Okay, if we're still within our workshop time, because Teacher Hazel has also wonderful things to share. Okay, can you access the survey? Okay, let's please copy paste the survey. Okay, there you go. Thank you. All right, ayan, nakalagay na po. So it's 2:59 and we're on time. Okay, 5 minutes to answer the survey. Thank you, Jay. Good to see you. I mean, good to read your name. Thank you for attending. Thank you for attending our Pastly seminar. Okay, it's already 3:05. Ayan, medyo maaga tayo. 5 minutes early. So we can continue. All right. In a few minutes or before we listen to Teacher Hazel, I'll be showing the result of the survey, no? And it will give us a good idea as to what barriers and opportunities we're facing in our quest to become collaborators with teachers and faculty. What we discussed this morning, what we were able to synthesize and affirm that we know, and we do it every day. However, if we truly want to deepen our involvement to inform policy, not just in the school that we're working to or we're working in, but also the larger society, which is also known as the DepEd, because our school library guidelines is not yet revised. It's a 2011 school library guidelines, no? So it's timely to revisit this conversation. So we'll look at the result of the survey later, and we can continue in how we can break barriers, capitalizing on the opportunities that we have. And I think one opportunity is our competence, our competencies. We're highly skilled, and it's very evident with all your responses. How do we now turn our barriers? And those barriers that we identified, workload, uh, digital access gaps, were not really recognized as co-designers, collaborators, no co-teaching policy, okay? And planning, working in isolation is still exist in our learning communities. How do we now break those barriers? Well, first, I think we have to be aware of our bias and our prejudice. We recognize our culture and we're very tribal. Mahilig tayo sa mga barangay-barangay, no? Yun yung mga tatawirin natin. Kaya mamaya, makikita nyo paano tinawid ni Teacher Hazel ang from Quezon City, UP Diliman to an activity that fosters literacy, leading towards critical thinking, evaluative thinking, and other literacies that can be learned so that children can navigate the digital landscape. Ito yung mga barriers naman na dapat nating ma-overcome. Okay? Let me share my screen again. Okay, let's keep in mind that we need to speak the language of teachers, and teachers need to understand our language. So a shared language of collaboration must be established. Also shared leadership, a recognition that as librarians, what we can do, we're experts in LIS and research, is something we share with teachers. We also share planning spaces. Where do we now sit with the teacher in planning the lesson? And then we need institutional support. Okay? So if you're a very good librarian, but one or two of these uh, bridges, okay, one or two is or are missing, then we have to advocate for collaboration. Okay, let me make it bigger. Presentation view. Okay, there. So the need to think together follows. And once we have adopted a co-thinking or a thinking together culture, then innovative learning in all forms be it digital, analog, physical, is possible. Now, co-thinking is a very cognitive activity, but it's also the foundation of collaboration. And we can begin in simple steps that is actually developed as we practice collaboration with teachers. Number one, jointly ask questions. So teacher and librarian should be inquirers. Number two, challenge assumptions. Even your own practice must be challenged. Even the teacher's lesson plan must be challenged. And then explore possibilities. What other things can the librarian do apart from resource management, curation, and chunking research tasks? Can the librarian go out of the library, okay, and bring in innovation to the communities that the librarian, the teacher, and the school belong to? And then problem solving, access, and equity issues must also be talked about and conversed. And when we speak of equity issues, we also talk about economy, budget, time, and cost. So equity issues can be elevated in a managerial or administrative level. And just like collaboration, if it's hinged or if it's connected to a teacher librarian partnership, it's easier to propose for a bigger budget. And then access to thinking, tools, and human rights can be possible. So make ways, create opportunities, and you cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone. We have to think together. So this is something that I would like you to work on. Where can co-thinking begin? What is one small place in your work where co-thinking could begin tomorrow? O kahit hindi tomorrow. Pressure ba? So, we recognize the importance of partnership and collaboration. We looked at frameworks and models of collaboration. We identified the digital landscape. Where in the digital learning, in this environment, can the librarian be a partner of the teacher? What is research saying, really? It has been tested by science that there are barriers still existing. But we go back to the idea of thinking together because that's the only way we can survive in an age where there's so much information changing in seconds, where AI continuously challenges our integrity. We cannot really teach and learn all by ourselves, despite our observation that the more we engage in social media and in an online environment, the more siloed or the more isolated we become. So this is really a counterpoint. Co-thinking and thinking together requires intention and political will. And where can we begin? And what's one place in our work where co-thinking can begin? I'm also thinking about this because I have no problems co-working, co-designing, and co-teaching with Filipino and English teachers, no? I have yet to work with the content area teachers. Science, math, yan. Ang success ko, I was able to work with the history teacher and the humanities teacher because they have very big content to deal with. But the science teachers, no, I would like to work with them. That when our grade 11s and grade 12 students begin their review of related literature, I want to be there. I want to journey with our grade 11s and grade 12 students in the identification of resources for the review of related literature. Ganun kasimple. So if that is my goal, if that's one small place that I would like to be a co-thinker of our science teachers, biology, ESS, chemistry, and physics, I think the most real plan of action I can do is to pull out my research matrix na ginawa ko nung COVID, na inabutan na ng AI, kaya ni-revise ko siya this year. So that research matrix is something that I would like to present to the academic coordinator. I will make a request to sit in with the science teachers and present my research matrix. And then that's the beginning of co-thinking. Okay, so that's me. That's my example. What about you? You can answer in the chat box. Okay? How long is our time for this part? Okay. Tama lang. Tama lang yung ating mini workshop. Ayan solid course of action. So, ang problema ko, my science and math co-teachers, okay, are not tapping my expertise. But I have a research matrix, pandemic time, revised and edited this academic year, infused with AI use and AI literacy. Ayan. So, how can I begin co-thinking? Ulitin ko I am going to talk to my academic leader, to my academic coordinator. Okay. I will email and I will talk to her personally. I will send an email to her and I will talk to her personally. I will schedule a team meeting with the science and math teacher. I will request for time and I will present my research matrix with a focus on how the students' review of related literature can actually be a more meaningful experience if the librarian introduces a curated material. Okay, no? So, yun ang gagawin ko next week bago mag-Christmas break. What about you, no? What area in your work? Okay? Meron pa kayong 8-10 minutes to do this before I give the Zoom room or the Zoom screen to Teacher Hazel. And we're going to check pala the survey because that's interesting. Okay, Pauline Espiritu, are you saying that co-thinking can begin in the library? Yes, of course, no? But to be specific, okay, I will repeat my example, no? So my problem is, science and math teachers are not co-working with me. Okay, they are still they're very concentrated in their in their lesson planning for their units in science. But we recognize the participation of the librarian in lesson planning, in designing a lesson, in the provision of learning materials as something that students can learn more from. Okay? So what I'm going to do is to present my research matrix which has been revised to the science team, no? To the science and math team, to the STEM teachers. And I will focus on curation, how the review of related literature, okay, can actually be a library activity that when students research, when they use our database, when they use open source materials. Their RRL, okay, is informed by research talaga. So I will draft that email. I will prepare that research matrix and look forward to the meeting before Christmas, hopefully. Okay, Camille Correa. I noticed that students in the school I work in do not have strong penmanship skills. After interviewing staff and teachers, lessons are printed or flashed in screens rather than written on notebooks on the spot due to time constraints. With this situation, I plan to collaborate with teachers and arrange a handwriting activity where students will trace letters in worksheet forms. Oh, I love this. It sounds so simple, but we should not forget the use of our hands because there's a hand and heart and head connection. Importante na nagagalaw natin ang ating mga fingers at ang ating mga kamay. I also want to encourage teachers to require students to write notes when they're conducting lessons. Yes. Okay. Aren't you amazed that we're talking about digital learning environment? But look, the importance of using our hands to be able to think better and to be more kind and caring surfaces, no? Nawawala na rin kasi yun, no? But I think in the developmental pediat pediatrics, the use of hands in the preschool and in the early grades, very, very important. I have a high school student who cannot use a pair of scissors. Na hindi niya magupit. That student cannot cut a piece of paper cleanly. You ask that student to tear the paper, mahirapan siya, no? So, nangyayari talaga yan. By co-thinking, searching, evaluating, and refining ideas together, we build students' confidence and show that the library is not just a place for answers, but a place for shared. I think this is a place for shared inquiry. Okay. Oh, pareho tayo, Armida Gaviola. Having a meeting with a math and science teacher so that they know the library as a place for their research in their subject field using the databases. Okay, you know what? Thank you for echoing my concern as well. Pareho pala tayo. I think it just occurred to me because we're in this conversation. It's also porous, this collaborative role. If we can teach specific to LIS, research, and digital literacy, this is also something that science and math teachers can teach, right? Okay? And they can also create their own sources. So parang iniisip ko, they're not reaching out to us because it's something that they can do. Okay? So if this is the case, hypothetically, then maybe we have to approach it in a different way. What is it that they truly need from us, librarians and the library? Okay? Kasi yung mga language arts and English teachers automatic no? They recognize that the library is important. There are literacy skills that the librarian must co-teach, 'di ba? And like my example, the history teacher, so big. The content is overwhelmingly big that she has to chunk it. And chunking it would mean she needs a partner, no? Especially in identifying the origin, the validity, the quality of sources. So, librarian, please help me. Ayan. With science and math teachers, they're a different being. Okay, Regine Gatchalian, hello, how are you? In my experience, co-thinking can begin in planning lessons that integrate library skills with classroom topic. Research APA citations. Thank you for identifying that specific skill. One small place it could start is during our monthly IL session by reaching out to teacher in advance to discuss how session can directly support their current lesson. Okay, we have more answers coming in. Planning stage pa lang, yes. Okay. Okay, you mentioned textbook. Teachers are dependent only on one primary source, the textbooks. May I correct you, Mr. Danville Viloria, no, that textbooks are not primary sources. They're not primary resources. They're secondary. Kaya mas delikado kung dependent si teacher sa textbooks, no? Secondary yung information, hindi primary. Okay, so we have to break this. I just have to clarify this. I hope I am not putting you on spot. Okay? And we are in the level of academic conversation, no? Lacking abilities in in-depth research. What I do when students inquire in the library as much as possible is to try to debunk by parts of their inquiries as later on we can answer each question with fact and evidence and give them guidance on library and materials. Okay, that is scaffolding. Okay, Danril, yung sinasabi mo na pag-debunk parts of their inquiries, that's already a scaffold. Okay? And there are scientific ways, there are instructional techniques to make it a pedagogy talaga. Okay, galing ah. Jonah Macaranas, problem, difficulty in finding and using reliable sources, immediate action. This week, conduct drop-in sessions in the library to guide students on using online databases, catalogs, and research tools. Create quick reference handouts for easy use. Ang galing. Wow, may plan ka na. Sino to? Si Jonah Macaranas. Meron na rin siyang faculty, oh. Okay, limited awareness of library resources, integrating them into teaching. Meet faculty during their next curriculum planning session to recommend relevant resources, co-plan upcoming assignments, and provide a live demo of key databases like ProQuest. Okay, very good. Please do not just do it next week. I-calendar mo na to. Isama mo na sa in-service. 'Di ba? Sa bakasyon na naghahanda kayo ng teaching experiences ninyo, 'di ba? Ipa-calendar mo na 'to sa academic head mo. Very clear course of action. Very good ka na sa workshop na to, Jonah Macaranas. Okay. Meron pa rin sa staff. Okay, gawan mo na to ng plano. And then execute na. Peter John, okay, experience-based pa rin. Collaboration with English and Filipino teachers. Fastest reader. Okay, because you have a reading clinic. Okay, very good. Ayan, dumadami, no? Okay, thank you for participating in our mini workshop. Dialogue and shared inquiry. Yes, yung sinabing problem ni Vivian, no? That's a different campaign or advocacy altogether because that's leadership. Kailangan mo ng mas matibay na communication plan. At communication plan that addresses school leadership. because they also speak a different language. Our school leaders, principals, academic head, school head, they speak a different language, no? Administrative sila eh. Okay. All right, very good, no? So let's move on to the next part as we come to a close and teacher Hazel will take the floor. So here's another example because close to my heart is my situation with my science teacher. So meet with them on environmental inquiry unit, identify resources needs, digital tools, and scaffolds. For academic librarians, they can co-think with faculty on capstone projects, identify checkpoints where librarians can do the check-ins and follow through with faculty, emphasize ethical issues, and identify information literacy gaps. Okay, so here now is an example of an environmental inquiry unit where teacher librarian co-think together. Identification of resource needs, digital tools are identified as well that students can use. Here are the scaffolds, mini lessons in evaluating sources. You can use CRAP, you can use RADCAB, you can use OPVL in our case, no? You can also use rubrics as scaffold for multimodal projects, and the rubric changes according to the product. Inquiry steps. Here's another scaffold. Ask, what do you need? Gather resources. Analyze the resource. Propose to the student or to the teacher. And then communicate the plus, the minus, the advantages of these resources or information and knowledge. And then, of course, the outcome, if you follow the 1, 2, 3 teacher librarian co-thinking scenario, you have stronger, accurate student environmental reports, and co-thinking happens authentically. So our call to action is this, school librarians, let's document our co-taught lessons. So ako, vlog lang ako ng vlog. Ang dami ko nang naiipon. Nabasa niyo nga eh, Lighthouse Diary number 80. I started that 5 years ago. More or less, I think. I have to check. But it's documented, but am I converting it into research? Hindi. So that's my challenge. Collect evidence of student learning that's gained through IL integration. The assessment is evidence of student learning. How do you now translate that into data to communicate to your school head? School head, look, oh, this is a report from the teacher's assessment that when they go to the library and I teach identification of sources and evaluation of sources, their marks in the paper or in the research is this much. Kailangan meron tayong ganong conversion ng evidences o ng evidence, ng data. Okay? You can publish all of our findings in journals so that academic researchers are informed. PATELs can look at what we do as a school or as school librarians and teachers. Even the DepEd, no, can be alerted that on the ground, there are new collaborative effort happening. And for academic librarians who are here, continue co-authoring information literacy modules with faculty, assuming that you have more independent learners in the college level. I would also recommend remediation for IL or MIL modules, no? Kasi malaki ang learning gap because of the COVID experience. You can also present collaboration cases in SHED, research forums, and case studies that we can present our institutional accrediting bodies, PAASCO, PACOCOA. I know that there are school libraries here who are already given a level 5 in PAASCO. Meron ba kayong case studies na pwedeng i-share? Meron ba kayong mga action research na pwede i-share. Maybe next time we can do that. Maybe sharing your case studies, your action research can be an offshoot of what we are talking about today on teacher-librarian collaboration. Okay? And that, my friends, my list of references.